Hello, everyone. I hope you all can hear me. I can only see limited faces, but I am Sarah Borden. I am the current chair of MARAC for a couple more months. This is our business meeting. It is 12 p.m. I am going to wait for a moment or two to let everyone get in and get settled, and then we will get on with our show. All right, it is 12:02, so I am going to call this meeting to order. Hopefully you have all had a chance to look at our agenda. So this is our official call to order. Welcome. I am so glad that you are all here. This is our business meeting, and it is scheduled to take place from 12 to 1 p.m. I just want to make a note right now. We have a strict 60 minutes that we are going to attempt to stick to. So you are more than welcome to submit questions. For now, use the chat, please. And we will either answer the questions from the chat at the end, or we will send out answer to those questions via email after the meeting has ended, just so that we can make sure that we stick to those 60 minutes so that we don't infringe on other sessions. So we will answer, like I said, as many as we can via voice at the end. And if we don't get to them, we will definitely answer them via text in a different format. So please don't hesitate to submit your questions, but just know that we might have time to get to all of them. So meeting has been called to order. Our next item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. So do I have a motion to approve the agenda? And you can submit your motion via the chat. Thank you, Margaret. Can I get a second? Okay, thank you, Frank. We have approved the agenda. And our next item on that agenda is approving our meeting minutes from the fall 2022 business meeting that took place in College Park. So hopefully you had a chance to look at those meeting minutes that were linked. And I need a motion to approve them at this point. Thank you again, Margaret. Do I have a second? Perfect. Thank you, Jessica. So we have approved the minutes from the fall 2022 business meeting. The next item on our agenda is our chair's report. And I am going to advance my slides, which I have been forgetting to do. So here are the first pieces of the agenda that I kept from you. And now we are going to move on to my chair's report. We have been very busy this spring. We met in January, and in the intervening couple of months, I have been focusing on strategic planning. We have a really amazing task force of folks who are guiding me in this effort. So we've been focusing on our themes and breaking the themes down into manageable goals. I wanted to put the themes in front of you all again. Our themes are advocacy, education, inclusivity and accessibility, institutional organization and transparency, and outreach. And I have to say, institutional organization and transparency confuses a lot of folks. So I will say that theme has to do with getting our house in order internally so that everybody knows what they're supposed to be doing and when, and also so that our membership knows what we are doing and when. So that's going to be a big focus of this strategic plan. I recently put together a bit of a report as to what our remaining tasks are so that we can start planning meetings and some other dates for continuing and finishing up the strategic plan. So we have worked through discussions of the first three themes. And we are in the future going to focus on the remaining 2 categories, which are institutional organization and transparency and outreach. And like I said, that institutional organization and transparency bit is quite a large part of our future strategic goal. So that will take some time and effort. And then once we have worked our way through those last 2 categories, we are going to turn our tasks and goals into SMART goals, paying particular attention to measurement metrics and time constraints. And then we will assess the financial impacts of each goal, which is a very important part. We want to make sure that we're not setting our sights too high. And then we are also going to be assessing the staffing impacts of each goal, assigning specific timeframes to those goals, finalizing the list, and then assigning the goals to the appropriate stakeholders, whether they're officers or committees. And then I have the responsibility of writing the executive report, which I'm actually looking forward to doing. I want to, again, take this moment to thank the people who are on the task force, and there are executive committee, which is me, our chair-elect, our chair-elect-elect, our meetings coordinator. I should have had the list in front of me. Our members at large, our secretary. Y'all are amazing. And I am so grateful for your patience with me and so thankful for the work that you've been putting in. And there will be more things moving along in strategic planning very soon. I will say right now, I am under the thumb of our university's commencement. And once commencement has ended, I will have more time to get back to strategic planning. So you can expect to see a lot more from me. I am planning on putting together a little bit of a presentation for Saratoga and writing up something for the Mid-Atlantic Archivists so that everyone knows where we are and what we're doing and where we're going. So thank you again to the task force. And now I'm going to pass it over to Mary Mannix, who is our meetings coordinator, for her report.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much to the nearly 600 people who are joining us here in our MARAC Virtual 2.0. Sarah, can I have my next screen? Okay, there we go. So I want to make this quick because, as Sarah said, we have a time constraint, and we particularly have our PC members who are very concerned to make sure everybody gets to their sessions on time. But right now, you all can take a screenshot, take out your phone, make sure that you have the dates set for our next conferences. We are going back to real life in Saratoga Springs in the fall. We will not be having our traditional welcome to Saratoga Springs brought to us during this meeting because of the time constraint, but we'll be sending out Brian Keogh, our lead co-chair for local arrangements. We'll be going out to all members, so there'll be no reason to miss it. So keep an eye out for that in your email. Do take a look, Saratoga Hilton, sleeping rate 189. And then we'll be having our first ever official symposium. Our subject this time will be equity and diversity. And the idea of a symposium is coming out of the meetings task force that took place a few years back. So we continue to try new educational avenues, new things to do in order to meet the needs of our members and hopefully make sure you all are very happy in how we present information to you. Do keep an eye out in the next month or so also for a call for that. Sarah. And I'd like to take a moment to thank those people who put up with me regularly, members of the meetings coordinating committee, our vendor coordinator, Nick, our tech coordinator, Alan, and our program co-editors, Emily, and the anonymous Davis, who actually should be David, but he's leaving us, so who really cares if we get his name wrong? But I will miss David, who got tired of putting up with me, but who spent many years working on a variety of fronts for meeting coordinator. And I'm always thankful to all those people for putting up with me year after year. And then next. And now I would like to very much thank the people who brought us here to this virtual, Deb and John and their VAC team, and then Carrie Ann and Tara in regards to the PC. Deb and or John, could you come forward and thank your members, please?
Sure, it's actually going to be both of us, but I'll be starting. Hello, everyone. We hope you've been enjoying the conference. Thanks to everyone who contributed to making this second virtual MARAC a reality. Thanks especially to our administrator, Sarah Predmore, who has been super responsive and a great resource during some tricky conference planning. Thanks especially to Carrie Ann and Tara and the entire programming committee for putting together an amazing program. Now we'd like to spotlight our volunteers from the Virtual Arrangements Committee. First, a very special thank you goes to Ellen Munschauer, who stepped in like a champion to become the Tech Subcommittee Chair when both our previous chairs became unavailable. Moving on to communications, excuse me, one of the primary reasons why we've had such a good turnout is due to our hardworking communications subcommittee chair, Lisa Gensel, and our social media coordinator, Jackie Hahn. Thank you both for getting the word out in a big way. Gonna toss over to John.
Next, we'd like to thank Rachel Grove Rohrbar for our sponsorship subcommittee chair and her committee members, Brianna Losardo, Beth Zach Cohen, Jane Engel, and Sheridan Sales for all their hard work getting our conference thoroughly sponsored. Great thanks also to our vendor guy, Nick Jumeski, for landing and leading all those vendor sessions. Next, our virtual tours chair, John Beekman, gets our thanks for putting together a wonderful slate of educational and interesting tours, leading the eye-opening Q&A session yesterday, and wrangling all the YouTube videos. Thanks very much to the virtual tours subcommittee members, Laura Melbourne and Christy Lutz as well. Great thanks goes out to the Virtual Arrangements Tech Support volunteers. These are the folks that led all of our practice sessions and have been supporting all the live sessions this week. They are our tech heroes, and they are Beth Zach Cohen, Sheridan Sales, Nicole Font, Maria Day, Colin Morgan, Tanya Taylor Norwood, and Rachel Gattermeyer. And I personally would like to thank Deb Schiff for her work and leadership throughout the planning process and the conference. She worked to ensure that we capture the spirit of MARAC in a conference, the MARAC conference in a virtual setting. So thank you again, Deb.
And one last huge thank you from me, and that's to my co-chair, John Zerillo. I could not have asked for a more hardworking, dedicated, organized, and committed partner in this mammoth effort. So when I think about all the heavy lifting John Zerillo did for the spring 2023 MARAC, I will be forever grateful for all his time and effort. Back to you, Mary.
Great. And I'd like to make a point of saying that Deb and John stepped forward to do virtual 2.0. I had just contacted them in the hopes that they knew some other likely victim, and they just stepped right up. I didn't have to beg, didn't have to cry, didn't even have to put it out into the universe. So very, very continuously thankful to both of them. Now on to PC. Tara, Carrie Ann, please and/or come forward and thank your members.
Hi, so I'd like to echo Deb in thanking MARAC leadership and the meeting committee and our administrator, Sarah Predmore. Also a big thank you to my fellow co-chair, Tara Marjan, and to our VAC co-chairs, John Zerillo and Deb Schiff. I think the conference has gone really well so far. And also we'd like to thank our program committee members, John Caldwell, May Casey, Gabriella Chu, Brian Dickerson, Daniel Glynn, Yuki Hibben, Catherine Johns Marston, Jessica Leiden, Daniel Marchetti, Elizabeth McGordy, Alexandra Plant, Elizabeth Scott, and Melissa Zebro. Also thank you to Melissa and Gabriella for handling the poster presentations and all the work that took to get that together so well. Thanks very much.
Great. Thank you so much, PC. And again, thanks to everyone who made this come together. I hope everyone is enjoying our new Zoom platform. So in my view, so far it's going so good. So all seems good. Next slide, please, Sarah. I'll see everyone in Saratoga. I'm now going backstage, as they say, and everyone have a good conference. And again, thank you so much for everyone who made this happen. I am forever in your debt.
Thank you, Mary, John, Deb, Carrie Ann, and Tara. You guys have worked so hard, and I am so impressed with the way that this has gone down. It always takes more work than you would think to get a MARAC meeting on the road, and to do it virtual is quite a feat. So thank you to everyone who was involved. And now I am going to transition into our treasurer's report. So Amy Fitch, it is your turn.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Thank you for being with us. I'm Amy Fitch, and as your treasurer, I'm here to provide a brief update on the organization's financial picture. The financial report for the third quarter is embedded in today's agenda, which was shared by email, but also we will share a link to it in the chat shortly. There it is. All right, this report covers the third quarter of fiscal year 2023, which ended on March 31st. To orient yourself, the only differences between the two pages of the report are the expenses. Page 1 covers what we spent money on, and page 2 covers who spent it, meaning which committee. Okay, generally speaking, it was a quiet quarter. There's good news. MARAC had a modest net gain in the third quarter of $4,719, and that's because of income for this conference. And there's more good news. We had twice as much support from our vendors and sponsors than expected for the conference. And on top of that, conference expenses are below budget. So this conference is doing a great job. And the result of that is this reduces our overall net loss for the fiscal year to $6,970. And that's an improvement over the end of the second quarter because that's when we paid the bills for the fall conference in College Park. Okay, one other thing of note from the financials is there is significant income under the miscellaneous line, and that is for a Virginia caucus event that took place last month. It was very well attended, but keep in mind the money for the expenses for that event still have to be paid out probably in the next couple of weeks. All right, one last highlight is, so this report, as many of the recent ones have, shows that banking fees continue to be quite high at the same time that investment rates are quite low. And that's true even for relatively safe bonds. So a subgroup of the Finance Committee has researched options for our investments, and their excellent recommendations were approved last week by the steering committee. So we'll start implementing those recommendations soon with the hope that we will see some turnaround in our investments later this year. So those are my highlights. I can be reached at treasurer@marac.info with any questions, because obviously there's much more going on than what I just noted. But thank you very much, and I'm glad you're here.
So we are doing so well at going quickly that we're a little bit early. So I hope y'all will indulge me. Amy, you are amazing. This is my last my last business meeting as chair, and I just want to say thank you to Amy. Y'all, being treasurer of MARAC is a full-time job in and of itself. And Amy, you have done such an incredible job, and MARAC is in such good financial hands with you and your team. So thank you. You guys are just doing amazing work, and I can't wait to see where you take us, because you have so many things in the pipeline that I know are going to be really amazing and benefit us a lot. So with that said, I will move us on to our next agenda item, which is awards, announcements, and presentations. The first one is the Distinguished Service Award, but before I move on to that, I just want to say to everyone, usually at this point we do service awards for the previous meeting, and since we are virtual this time, we are going to save the service awards from College Park and announce them at Saratoga. So we want to be able to do that in person, and actually we would love to do the Distinguished Service in person as well, but we can't keep the secret any longer. So with that said, Tara, we are a little bit early, but I'm going to turn it over to you, Tara Wink, who is the chair of the Distinguished Service Awards Committee. So go ahead.
Thank you, Sarah. As you say, we are a little bit early, and I'm really, really hopeful that this is not messing with the individual showing up. So I'm going to talk a little slowly at first, but it is my great pleasure to announce this year's Distinguished Service Award. Before I begin, I do need to thank my committee. We had a lot of fantastic nominations this year, and it really was a pleasure to hear about the amazing work of the MARAC members who were nominated. We are all very fortunate to work with so many wonderful colleagues. So thank you to my committee, MARAC historian Lauren Brown, Bridget Kamsler, and Jason Speck. As I said, we had a difficult year and a difficult decision, but I am just relieved to know that we have so many fantastic people working with us here at MARAC. As you can see on your screen, the DSA is awarded to a MARAC member who has made a significant contribution to MARAC, who has committed or has contributed to the organization's success, as well as made contributions to the archival profession broadly. And while I'm sad that we cannot recognize this year's recipient in person, it is perhaps more appropriate that we are honoring this individual in a virtual setting. But I will explain that in a few. Thank you very much to the generosity of Hollinger Metal Edge. This individual will receive a $250 honorarium, as well as a letter and someday, hopefully, hugs from all of us for their hard work. Traditionally, the DSA winner is a very closely guarded secret with details and clues about the individual sprinkled throughout this announcement. So bear with me as I try not to share too much too soon about this year's winner. And this year's winner is somewhere else and was not attending the business meeting. So hopefully that person has arrived by now. I have to move on a little bit here, but these are some of the words that have been used to describe the recipient. This year's award recipient has been an active member of MARAC for over 20 years. One nominator described them as a core member of MARAC. And I, for one, can honestly say that I couldn't agree more. They have held nearly every officer role on MARAC's steering committee for one or more terms in that 20-year span. Additionally, they have presented at multiple MARAC meetings, served on numerous LAC and PC committees, as well as served on several MARAC standing committees, undertaken the very difficult task of overhauling both the MARAC operations manual and the meetings manual. Through these different leadership roles, they have led with compassion and empathy and found ways to make both longstanding and new MARAC members feel heard and welcomed in our organization. Nominators have described this deserving member as calm during difficult and turbulent times, generous with their time, exceedingly generous and kind, as well as insightful and pragmatic. One nominator described them as follows, and I quote, "They are passionate about library leadership and the important contributions of mid-career librarians and archivists. I have watched them mentor other librarians and archivists, both formally and informally, and have always been impressed with their generosity and honesty. Plus, they are a pleasure to work with and keep colleagues smiling and laughing. A sentiment that I also personally agree with. They've been involved in MARAC leadership in times of great, I can't say this word right now, tumult for this organization. During both of these times, they led and worked as part of a team to innovate and change MARAC's culture, which is never an easy task. The first difficult time occurred in 2008 with the unexpected resignation of the then MARAC administrator. Not Sarah Pedmore, everybody, she's still with us. At that time, the recipient was serving as the MARAC vice chair, a role which included the task of both our meetings coordinator and the chair-elect, so a much larger role than just the traditional chair-elect role is today. During that time, they quickly took on some of the roles of the administrator while also helping to launch MemberCloud, our behind-the-scenes membership software. Searching for and helping, they also searched and helped to hire a new administrator and prepared for the spring meeting at that time. The second, much more recent time occurred in 2020. What could that possibly be, everybody? What am I talking about? Oh, that's right. This individual was integral in leading MARAC through COVID-19. They kept members safe while also finding innovative ways to keep membership connected and engaged, while also keeping MARAC relevant after canceling multiple meetings and facing major financial ramifications. It was during this time that I grew to know them best, and I personally am so thankful for their steadfast mentorship, positivity, strength, and humanity. This individual's commitment and dedication to MARAC is inspiring. especially when we note that their professional work shifted predominantly. Thanks, Rachel. She's crying too. Predominantly away from archives in 2015. They could have very easily walked away from MARAC and focused their amazing energy and work ethic elsewhere. By this time, it is probably clear to many of you who I'm talking about, but in case it's not, let me add that it was also under this individual's term as chair of MARAC that we held our very first virtual meeting in the spring of 2021. So as I hinted at earlier, it is appropriate that now we are honoring Jenny Levine-Nees as the 2023 MARAC Distinguished Service Award recipient at our second virtual meeting. Jenny, I hope you can forgive me, and I hope you are here for ignoring your email yesterday about the DSA and all the secrecy. I also need to take another moment to say thank you to Kevin Sieber, who is logging in now, and the Penn State Abington staff for working with me to surprise Jenny while she was visiting their library today. Jenny, I understand that you have not been able to catch all of this, but I will gladly share this information with you, and this has been recorded. Congratulations. Thank you. MARAC is better for your hard work, dedication, and I'm going to vamp a little bit more and see if we can get Kevin. Kevin is here. Jenny, are you aware of what is going on right now? And are you able to speak?
Can you see me?
I can't see you, but we can hear you.
Okay, Kevin, how do I or how do I?
And I'm sorry that you missed the long speech, but I will make sure you get this.
It's okay, we can't do it, we can't do it.
We can hear you.
Okay, hi, wow. So Tara, I guess the email I sent you yesterday.
You missed me apologizing for ignoring your email yesterday.
What? Wow. Wow. I don't know what to say. I'm currently in a taco place in I don't even know what the name of this town is that we're in Abington, Pennsylvania. Wow.
Well, I can honestly say that there were many, many kind thoughts and words expressed about you. It was a wonderful thing to read, and you missed me ugly crying a little bit as I was reading through my thoughts about you. So thank you so much for all of your work with MARAC, and I hope that we continue to see you at meetings in the future and that we can all give you a giant hug in person soon.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Tara. Thank you, everybody. I'm sorry I missed everything that you said.
Sorry too. We were
I'm
trying
a
to get
little-
here on time.
I mean, talk about the surprise. The surprise element. And I really wanted to know who won this, and I had Mike and Mary on standby watching this to tell me.
Well, surprise.
I'm incredibly honored. This is I don't know what to say, but thank you, everyone. I won't prolong it. Go back to your business meeting, and maybe I'll think of something really nice to say that I can send out to everyone in an email later on.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you, Tara. Thank you, Tara.
Thank you,
And I just want to say, since I have a captive audience and everyone has to indulge me, I definitely had moments where I thought, what would Jenny do during my chair's tenure? So your impact is far and wide, and you are so deserving of this award. So thank you, Jenny, and thank you, Tara, and your committee for putting this together.
Thank you, Sarah. I'm gonna go eat my taco now. Bye, everybody.
Okay, my computer let me unmute myself. So we are going to be moving on to the next part of our agenda. We're continuing on with awards announcements and presentations. And with that said, here is Amy Vo to announce the winners of the Finding Aid Awards.
Hi, everyone. So the MARAC Finding Aid Award recognizes finding aids for their content, design capabilities, and innovations to enable researchers to more effectively access and use archival materials. And this year, the MARAC Finding Aid Awards Committee awarded two Frederick M. Miller Finding Aid Awards. We awarded first place to the ESPN College Game Day Posters Collection written by Grace Thompson at James Madison University for an exceptionally creative finding aid providing contextual access to ephemeral and unique content in a visual, informative, and navigable way. And we have awarded second place to the finding aid for the Archives of the Maryland Province of the Society of Jesus, written by Cassandra Berman, Ted Mallison, and Mary Beth Corrigan at Georgetown University for an excellent finding aid demonstrating a strong commitment to reparative description and unearthing the history of their institution. Congratulations to you all, and thank you too to our committee members, Laura Bell, Annie Tumino, Ilhan Sitak, David Grinnell, and Tammy Gobert for their hard work reviewing and discussing all of our submissions this year.
Thank you to Amy and her committee, and congratulations to the winners of these awards and for their remarkable finding aids. So our next award announcement is our Diversity and Inclusion Session Scholarship, and I will be making this announcement. So a little bit about the Diversity and Inclusion Session Scholarship. It was created recently to promote themes of diversity and inclusion and social justice at MARAC conferences and to encourage professional engagement with these issues. This scholarship is awarded to the presenters of one session at both the fall and the spring conferences for a session dedicated to topics of inclusion and diversity as defined by MARAC's diversity and inclusion definition within the profession. And I will say this scholarship is intended to cover registration and accommodations. And since there is no accommodation needed for this virtual conference, the winners of this scholarship can use their funds toward the next conference registration. And this conference's winners were session 5, which is called the Black History and Visual Culture Collection at Penn State University. And the presenters, all of whom work at Penn State, are Kevin Clare, Patrice Green, G. Johns, and Beth Ann Ray. Congratulations to all of you, and thank you for such an incredible session. We look forward to that later today. Moving right along very quickly in our business meeting today, item 8 on our agenda is new business. There is none. So that means that we will be moving right along into our invitation to the Fall 2023 Saratoga Springs Conference. As Mary mentioned in her presentation, usually the Local Arrangements Committee does a little bit of a song and dance, inviting you to the next conference, but we don't have that this time. And I'm just going to show you a couple of slides to hopefully entice you along to Saratoga. So the meeting will be taking place October 19th through the 21st in Saratoga Springs, New York. The title of the conference will be Navigating the Turn, Reappraising the Archival Career. And here is a little bit more information. The Saratoga Hilton will be our conference site, and the room rate is $189 per night. And I'm just going to read you the synopsis of the theme. So our profession seems to be in a season of change, buffeted by the stresses of the pandemic, a new enthusiasm for unions and labor advocacy, and increasing expansion into preservation and management of born digital collections. The theme is inspired by the Battle of Saratoga, which was a turning point in the Revolutionary War, and horses battling for position on the famed local racetrack. The curative waters of Saratoga Spa can also represent an opportunity for reflection and renewal. So as I often do during these meetings, I am going to tell you to check the MARAC website. Make sure that you know that it's marac.info, and you can get more details, which will be coming soon at marac.info/fall-2023-conference. So I encourage you to regularly check our website and to keep an eye on your email for more information that will be forthcoming about the conference in Saratoga Springs, which promises to be another great one. So with that said, we are moving right along, flying through this business meeting. So our next item on the agenda is announcements. I am not sure if Lexi is here and able to make this announcement, but if she is not, I am happy to read. Mary says, woohoo. I am happy to read her call for applications. I'll just give her another second. Okay, so our announcement at this meeting is our mentoring program. So our mentoring program is an offshoot of our membership committee, and they run their mentorship program in cycles. So the applications for 2023-2024 MARAC mentoring cohorts are open. This year's tracks, there are 3, will be BIPOC archivists, mentor mentees, which consists of 2 co-mentors and a small group of 3 to 5 mentees without a specific track in mind. And then our 3rd cohort is peer support, which will be small groups of 4 to 6 peers without a designated mentor. These groups are always really popular. So if you are interested in being either a mentor or a mentee, please make sure you apply soon. Applications close on May 31st and will be reviewed in the following month of June. Cohorts will be matched at orientation in July of 2023, with the cohorts launching in August, and then the cohorts will end in May of 2024. So there is a link to the application on this slide. I encourage you to take a screenshot, write down this link, and apply today. As I said, these cohorts are always really popular, and we get great feedback once they've ended. People find that they get a lot out of them. So please do apply to be a mentor or a mentee, and we would love to have you. That is the end of what I have on my agenda for the business meeting. Since we have about 20 minutes, I was not paying close attention to the chat, but are there any questions that we can answer right now? And if you have a question that you didn't put into the chat, you can feel free to pop in and announce yourself. Well, hearing and seeing no questions, I need a motion to adjourn. You can have some time before the next session. Do I have a motion to adjourn? I have 2 motions to adjourn. Do I have a second? Beautiful. Meeting adjourned. And if you have any questions, you can always reach out to me. Thank you all for coming and listening. We are grateful for your continued support and membership.